Hi kids, it's Miss Bongiorno, and for today's reading lesson, we are going to mix in a little bit of social studies. Remember yesterday when we talked about the very first Thanksgiving ever? Well, today I want to talk about an important part of that. You see, when the Pilgrims sailed on the Mayflower all the way over to America, they were met with the Native American people. And this group was called the Wampanoag. Can you say Wampanoag? That's a big word. Well, we're going to learn all about how that tribe lived back then. Let's watch a video from a company called Scholastic about the culture of the Wampanoag people.
The Wampanoag way. Meet Tashima and Storm. They're sisters. They're members of the Wampanoag tribe.
Hey, girls. Oh.
The girls live typical lives in Massachusetts. They go to school. They ride bikes. They hang out and have fun. But sometimes they get to do something very special. They show others what life was like for their people 400 years ago. That's what some members of the tribe do at the Wampanoag home site. Let's go for a visit. We'll step back in time as the girls show us what life was like for the Wampanoag people in the 1620s. The Wampanoag have been living in the Northeast for thousands of years. They were the group of people that the Pilgrims met when they first arrived in America in 1620. Here we are at the home site. The sun rises. It's time to wake up. The family is cozy in their weetu. A weetu is a Wampanoag home made of branches and tree bark. It's a warm, clear day. The girls go outside and have some breakfast. Their sister cooks it over an open fire. They eat nassamp, which is hot corn porridge. They sweeten their nassamp with berries. They're a little thirsty. Time to get a drink. A spring runs through the home site. The girls dip hollowed out gourds into the water and fill them up. The water is cool and fresh. Parents encourage kids to run around, play, and have fun. The girls love to play a game called double ball. Nice catch! Kids also help the adults out with chores. The Wampanoag grow corn. Big flocks of blackbirds want to eat the corn. The girls climb up high and yell and shout at the blackbirds. They're like human scarecrows. They scare those hungry birds away. Time for a break. The girls pick some sumac berries with their dad. Then they brew them into a delicious hot tea. One more cup, please. The Wampanoag live by a river. The girls take a ride on a machine to visit friends up the river. Machine is the Wampanoag word for boat. It's made from a tree trunk. Back at the home site, the girls grind some corn for stew. Each girl gets a turn. It's a chore, but it's also pretty fun.
Yep.
Their mom cooks quail over the fire. She'll put it into the stew. Looks scrumptious. The girls relax by making some beads out of clay. They'll make them into necklaces. Storm shapes one of her beads into a spiral. It's been a long, busy day. The girls are getting tired and the sun is going down. They play with dolls before bedtime. And then they cuddle up and go to sleep. Their bear fur blankets are so warm and soft. Good night, girls.
Wow, that was a pretty cool video. I think it's awesome that those girls get to practice some of their traditions and learn about their culture, but still do the fun things that we get to do in today's times. Let's review some things that we learned. They showed us this. Do you remember what that is? That's their house. Their homes were called weetus. People made them with grass and mats and bent trees. A family slept on beds inside the weetu, and they snuggled in animal fur. Neat. I bet it is cozy in there. I bet this keeps all the heat in. Next, we learned that the children had a few different jobs. So most of the time the men hunted and fished, and the women stayed home and farmed, and they also taught their children how to farm. So the girls learned how to pick crops like corn, beans, squash, pumpkins, and in the video they had a couple other jobs too, like scaring away crows and doing all kinds of cool things. Look, they also ground corn. They used a stone to pound corn into corn meal. And then they made cornbread with it. And they can also make corn stew with berries. You can make all kinds of things with corn. And of course, they had fun. Here are the girls with their father in a boat called a mishoon. Sometimes they could paddle around for fun. They also played with dolls, and I really liked that sport that they were playing called double ball. That looked really fun. Very interesting. Thank you, kids. I hope that you learned a little bit about the Wampanoag people from the 1620s.